What's going on? Is Anton from antondaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Just checking Mika out. Mika caught a flight yesterday back to wherever it is that she is. And one of the tricks that I use is I used to book people for the dates, or I used to have hotel rooms for the dates that people come in. But now I do it a little bit differently. He got the same car I got. You got that one? Mine is over there. I got the AMG wheels on mine. Here you go, baby. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
I used to book people for the same day. So whatever dates that they were scheduled to be here was the times that I would have them booked. That didn't necessarily work out that well for me because over time, and this is a little bit of a trick that I've learned as a result of dealing with people and bringing people to Detroit. Over time, what I realized was that sometimes their flight would get delayed, or they would have a late checkout, or they would have just a later flight time, or would be working longer, or whatever, right? Or maybe they just even decide they want to stay a little bit longer. And so what I would do is I would have to extend it, or I'd have to try to pull some strings or call my host and stuff, and it just became too much of a hassle. So what I've determined, or what I've learned, is that the best way to do it, the easiest way, is just to book an additional day. And then whatever time that they leave, that next morning, I just go ahead and have them checked out or whatever. And everything works out a little bit easier. So for all of the people, well, I know it's not a lot of people that like to invest in themselves or spend money on other people or content or whatever. But when you decide that you want to invest in your business, and you decide that if you ever want to bring somebody in, or even if you just flying somebody in, a family member or a friend or a content creator, or for those of y'all that like to fly chicks out and stuff like that and spend money on them and trick out, book an extra day. That way it makes it a lot easier for you, and it's worth the money. Don't be penny pinching when it comes to taking care of your people. That's one thing. The second thing is that it was a very interesting weekend, and that so much happened. I thought that I was going to be able to get some sleep, party, hang with friends. And then there was an assassination attempt on Trump. I ran into some Hebrew Israelites because I was walking down the street, me and Mika. I will say that y'all ain't got the same energy as y'all do online. When you walk up to people, I mean, they tried to talk a little bit louder because I realized that the camera was on afterwards. But in reality, they quiet as church mouses. Quiet, timid. Don't have that same type of energy at all. And I was by myself. Well, I was with Mika, but Mika was chilling. Mika was eating her little ice cream. She don't care nothing about that. And we walking down the street, and I see the same dudes that was online talking tough in the park and stuff, bothering good white folk and bothering all of the people that's walking down the street. And then when you run into them, and I say, oh, I'm right. Oh, don't act like you don't know who I am. You know who I am. I'm right here. Now what? What is it that we want to talk about or discuss or debate about or whatever is different when you see me in person. For some reason, I've never, ever had any kind of problems with people that be talking online when they finally see me in person. I wonder why that is. Anyways, no smoke whatsoever. I love everybody. I want everybody to be in love. But, you know, y'all be acting like y'all want to debate and y'all know the Bible so much and stuff. And then when I come up, see, y'all say that easy stuff to the people that be walking around. But when somebody actually show up that know what he talking about and is exactly what it is that he is online, all that go out the window for some reason. Anyways, long story short, and then life after the assassination. So I didn't really get a lot of sleep. We recorded a lot of content on Sunday. Randy and Mika was recording and doing a lot of stuff. And so I haven't really gotten that much sleep. Life is interesting in that way. But I will say that once you start to go to sleep on it for a couple days and you see how things play out, you see who is who. And one thing that I've realized about people, our people, this culture, American culture, black culture, is that they never ever want to admit when they're wrong. They never want to admit, oh wow, he didn't crush on a blood pellet or whatever, a movie pellet, like Amanda Seals says. You know what I'm saying? Because you always, especially in a time of trouble, you always want to assume and give credence to whatever it is that happened. And somebody's ear officially got shot such as Trump, upcoming President Trump, was a lot that went on. But what I also realized about our culture is that in addition to never being wrong or never wanting to admit that they was wrong, they always want to triple down and double down. And when I say admit that they're wrong, I'm not even talking about the assassination itself. I'm talking about their past history and how they looked at politics, or whether or not they voted a certain way, or whether or not you supported Black Lives Matters. You know what you did. You know that you was one of the ones that was a blackity black that donated to Black Lives Matters, and they finessed you. You know that as Umar Johnson sat up there and pandered on the Breakfast Club, and then he got on Instagram Live, and he said he needs a reoccurring donor support system, even though they still doing paint parties at the ABCD, EFG, FM, Elemental G, Elemental P school, that you got finessed. You know that you got finessed by Derrick Jackson. And more importantly, you know that historically speaking, when you supported certain candidates for president of the United States of America and you donated to their campaign, or you advocated for them and you was hard pressed for it, and you put up the all black sign on Instagram was your profile picture and stuff like that, and you still got your Black Lives Matters shirt in your closet, and you voted for certain people, and you know that you was wrong. And now that you all jacked up and you can't afford an apartment, and we gave all of this money over to other countries, and we involved in so many different proxy wars, and there's so many different things that I could say. Regardless, nobody ever comes back to the front of the congregation and says, you know what, I got that one wrong. I got that one wrong. I know that I got some wrong. I definitely got it wrong. Just for example, as far as was I old enough to vote? Absolutely. The second Bush, well, I didn't get that one wrong. I'm not sure if I got that one wrong, because I think that at the time it was Al Gore that was running for president of the United States of America, which I'm not too sure that he would have been any better. Yeah, he absolutely would have been better. Anything would have been better than the second Bush. But the problem with that is that if the second Bush had never got elected, then we would have never known how bad he would have been, so we couldn't look back in hindsight and say that we got it wrong. But absolutely, in my lifetime, for example, I think that a Republican president was the worst president, as far as during the time that I was able to vote. A Republican president was the worst president of all time. I think that Clinton was absolutely trash, even though they'll look at his financial track record. He's the one that manufactured to an extent, him and the first Bush, manufactured to an extent and sold out all of our manufacturing jobs, and then manufactured the housing crisis, which the second Bush made 10 times worse. I think that Obama was definitely the wrong pick, but he was going to be president because identity politics, although I will say that Obama wasn't as bad as people try to make him out to be. Yes, he did push through this alphabet community agenda. Absolutely, he did a lot of things that I didn't agree with. But more importantly, he did some things that I did agree with, and there was some things that he inherited that was just absolutely worse, especially when it comes to the housing crisis and how bad it was in 2008. A lot of y'all that's watching me now, you wasn't outside at that time, so you don't realize how bad it was, but he did inherit a horrible economy, which is one of the reasons why I said the second Bush is one of the worst of all time. More importantly, when you look back in history, now that we have the opportunity to look at the last 4 years of Biden versus the last 4 years of Trump, and we start to have a conversation about who was the better president, I think it's absolutely clear. And in the fact that y'all still standing on it, even though he don't have no ability to even think straight, he went live yesterday in order to try to calm the country down, and he almost said, make America great again. And he don't even have all of his faculties, at least that's what it looks like from our lens. Nobody wants to have the uncomfortable conversation. They just want to act like they got revisionist history, similar to how people be when they talk about how great they was in high school. And it's a lot of people that think a lot of things, but one thing is for sure and two things is for certain. Don't matter whether you admit it or not. It was 81 million people, which I don't even necessarily believe that. They say it was 81 million people that voted for Biden to become president of the United States of America. I wonder how many is going to vote for him to become president this time. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. I got a Patreon exclusive video dropping today, in addition to Stock Club and in addition to the meetup that we're going to do in Houston at the end of this month. I love you guys. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for continuing to rock with me. Teach Hanley, 40% off your first order plus 20% off for life. That link is in the description also. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Please have a phenomenal day, but more importantly, take responsibility and accountability for what it is that you did. Peace.